Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And this is a first video. Well, I've done videos about the Clippers in the past, but I'm here to do Clipper playoff game recaps because, one, as you can tell by the jersey, I am a Clippers fan. So obviously, Clipper fans are checking out this video. This video can also be for NBA fans, but mostly I'm here talking about the LA Clippers and their path or their journey to what I believe will be a successful NBA championship run. So tonight we played the Dallas Mavericks, and it was game one. And the Dallas Mavericks are our first round opponent. And man, what a tough, gritty win the Clippers had to get tonight, guys. Um, what a hard fought game. That game was going honestly back and forth and stuff like that. Now, were there some controversial things, like the Porzingis ejection and, you know, Luka dropping 42 points and other, other players, fans think um, we're not a title contender. I think Laker fans are saying that about the Clippers. Listen, look, it's just one game, guys. Whether we won or lost this game, it was just one game. I'm actually more glad that we won the game. Most definitely. I'll take a win. I'm not going to poo-poo this loss. This win. This win was ugly. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't the best Clippers we've seen. We've seen better Clipper performances than today's performance. Today's, performance, it started off really, really freaking good. We got it off to an 18-2 lead in the game, and then that's when we found ourselves fighting for a majority of the second quarter. That third quarter, and then the Porzingis ejection happened, and then we finally capped it off late in that game, thanks to obviously Kawhi Leonard and Paul George sealing the deal, which proves the reason why we brought Kawhi Leonard, the Claw, and PG 13 to the Clippers. And you can obviously see they're compared to past Clippers playoffs, and we've had some clutch moments in the past when it comes to, past Clipper moments. Like obviously the most iconic clutch moment in Clippers history, I guess you can say, is the Game 7 matchup against the Spurs when CP3, hit the layup, hit the floater to advance us in the playoffs that round. I forgot what year that was, but this is one of those other clutch performances, made by Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And here, it goes to show that, without these guys, we would have not won today. So anyways, while I talk over this game, I'm not going to really show any game, play from it. I'm just going to sit here, go through the stats of the game as you see here on ESPN.com. And I'm going to talk about some things I like, some things I definitely did not like that I got to see, and some things what the Clippers can do to prepare for Wednesday's matchup in game 2. Now let's get to the first thing. Let's get to the first thing, which is obviously the most controversial thing, which everybody is talking about. And the one thing that people, who, especially if you, like I said, if you're Laker fans, I'm not trying to rub it into you guys, but I'm just making a point here. Let me get my water for a second before I, So I already knew the narrative after this win is, because one of the first things I saw was a tweet that I replied to, is that one person said, "Oh, the Mavericks would have won if Porzingis was still in the game and he never got ejected." Okay, my thoughts on the ejection. Obviously, as a Clippers fan, did I like the ejection? Will I take it? I'll take Porzingis' ejection. Now, was the ejection needed? No, it wasn't. It was just teams getting a little scuffle. The little freaking scuffles and stuff like that. Off, Marcus Morris and Luka Doncic tie up. Porzingis got involved and I guess gave a shove, and then for that he got ejected. Now I think, yes, was that pretty soft? Much of the people thought it was a soft call. Even LeBron James himself thought it was a soft call from the NBA. Now, I only say LeBron tweeted that statement because he's afraid of playing the Clippers. Yes, Laker fans, I said it. If you want to hate me in the comment section or leave a dislike on the video, go ahead. If LeBron's tweeting something like that, you definitely know he don't want to see the Clippers in the playoffs. I don't have time for LeBron's little tweeting nonsense. Worry about beating Portland. You got your own series to worry about. Don't worry about what the Clippers are doing. You should be worried about your own team. Anyways, was the Porzingis ejection, right? No, I don't think it was right. It was pretty soft, even looking back at it. Now, do I think the Mavericks would have won if Porzingis was still playing? Who knows? Who knows? To my knowledge, Porzingis wasn't really doing any damage to the Clippers other than shooting free throws, for crying out loud. But most of that, honestly, I don't think Porzingis would have done. He would have probably dropped 20 alongside Luka's 42, maybe more. But I don't think it would have maybe changed the outcome. Maybe the score would be a lot closer. Maybe the Mavericks would have ended up winning. And who knows? And honestly, they would have probably won if Porzingis would have won. I'm man enough to admit that. The Clippers, did they get lucky in winning this game? A little bit, yes, they did. Now, late game, they executed where the Dallas Mavericks failed to execute because, again, Colin Cowherd pointed this out on Twitter as well. Dallas isn't good in clutch performances. They said it on the Clippers broadcast as well, if you watch the Clippers broadcast. Dallas, they tend to break down late in games when it's those clutch moments when you need to do things. And listen, as you see in, the left-hand corner, Luka Doncic dropped 42 on the Clippers. I ain't going to lie. He balled out today. But in the clutch, when he needed help his team get baskets, he only got like one or two layups. But other than that, he didn't will his team, like how Donovan Mitchell almost, willed his team to victory today. He didn't do that. Like I said, Luka Doncic pulled out a valiant effort. But again, he had a lot of turnovers this game. And clearly, even though he had 42 points, that Clippers defense clearly frustrated him to a point. Now, some of those 42 points were off free throw shots that, again, fouls were what I call ticky-tack or iffy. That was another thing that I had an issue with this game. I've had an issue with the refs in general when it comes to reffing Clipper games in the bubbles, because it seems like the refs have some sort of agenda against the Clippers. And honestly, if you think hold up. No. The refs are totally in the Clippers, they were in the Clippers pocket. And if I can find it here, actually, as you can see, free throw. The Dallas Mavericks had 24 free throw attempts, while the Clippers only had 20. Now, obviously, that's more. They had more attempts because late in games, because obviously intentional fouling and stuff like that. But there was a point in the third quarter where, the Mavs had, like legit 20 free throw attempts to like the Clippers 9 free throw attempts or 10 free throw attempts. And it's like, I don't know what people are saying that the Clippers had the refs in their pocket, because if you clearly the first half of that game, the Dallas Mavericks were getting legit calls that were honestly to goodness BS, if you ask me. There was one foul where one Clipper player just touched like somebody's hand on the Dallas Mavericks and you heard a whistle from the refs and that was a foul. And it's like, what? And it put guys into foul trouble. Like Patrick Beverley ended up having 5 fouls, but he didn't foul out today. Which you could see why Luka Doncic later got those easy rebounds when Patrick Beverley was guarding him, because Patrick Beverley was not trying to foul out. And we're lucky he didn't foul out, because if he had fouled out, we would have had to put bum-ass Reggie Jackson's no defense playing ass in the game. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the stats. Field goal percentage, for the game. Dallas shot 45.7 field goal. We shot, 2% ahead of they did at 47.4. Field goals, Dallas hit 37 of their 81 shots, while we hit 45 of our 95 shots. Dallas hit 15 out of their 43 3-point attempted, while we hit 13 out of our 38 3-point attempted, especially that clutch, not only the clutch Marcus Morris 3-point, but the clutch Paul George 3-pointer. I just got to say this. See, I just got to say this for NBA fans. If you really still clown Paul George for just past playoff experiences, listen, this dude still, if if there's a player you can put the ball in your hand and say, hey, give me the ball and hit this shot. More than 9 out of 10, you'll take a Paul George on your roster to hit a clutch shot. When he hit that clutch shot, it was essentially the dagger of the game, which I got up in arms and it was hyped about and stuff like that. Anyways, free throws. Like I said, Dallas had 21 of their 24 free throws attempted, while we had 15 of our 20 free throws attempted. The free throw percentage for Dallas was 87.5, while we shot 75% from the field. Dallas had 41 rebounds, while we got 4 rebounds from them. We're at 45 and stuff like that. Dallas had 18. We tied in 18 assists. The Clippers had more steals than Dallas Mavericks. Dallas had 21 total turnovers to our 12 turnovers, so that was good on the defensive side that we were forcing turnovers. Defense still didn't look too well in points in the game, but hey, look, a win's a win. You'll take it. It's a playoff win. And that's what I mean by going back to the Porzingis ejection. The Porzingis ejection, people who are up in arms about it and complaining about it, mostly, which I can say is Dallas Mavericks fans, but mostly the Laker fans who are still rent-free in the Clippers' head, or have the Clippers in their head like 24/7. They're making comments saying, "Oh, if Porzingis was in the game, yada yada yada." Oh, please be quiet. If tomorrow Damian Lillard gets ejected over some BS, technical foul call, and he gets ejected for it, yes, 9 out of 10 times, Laker fans are going to be like, "Oh, well, it may have been a bad technical foul plus ejection and stuff like that." But we'll take Damian Lillard not being in the game if they barely beat if they get past the Trailblazers. Again, any team in the playoffs, if the opposing opponent they're facing, if one of their best players gets ejected, you may have, your thoughts about the ejection, but 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, you'll be like, oh, they ejected a good player. I'll take it, any way we can win. And like I said, this is the playoffs. This is the playoffs. This is the NBA playoffs. Whether you win pretty, bad, ugly, or even honest to God, horribly, and you still get a W at the end of the day and you're, up in a series lead, you'll take any win you can get in the playoffs. It's the playoffs, for crying out loud. You're just one step closer to winning a championship. So, stuff like that. We're going to go to the box score and talk about some things there. Now, obviously, I'm going to go over the Dallas Mavericks stats and stuff like that. So, obviously, Luka Doncic, who put on the show tonight for, the Dallas Mavericks. Hold on. I'm trying to – can this freaking video go away? I'm trying not to, get copyright. I don't know if I can get the video out of here. Anyways. Can I pause, please? Thank you. Anyways, I'm not trying to show any gameplay here. Again, I'm not trying to get copyright struck. Anyways, Porzingis put on a show tonight. He, set an NBA record for NBA playoff debut at scoring 42 points and stuff like that. Now, again, he had 42 points. He was a minus 14 tonight. A minus 14. I don't know what that has to say, but yeah. He was 13 from 21 from the field. He made 2 3-point attempts. So the Clippers did a pretty good job guarding him at the 3-point line. There was only 1 3-point where he had just a free, easy 3-point basket. And there was another really, contested 3-point shot that you'll just live with. He made 14 out of 15 free throws, which again, the refs were in the Clippers' pocket. Yeah, but yet Luka Doncic goes and has almost James Harden free throw numbers right there and stuff like that. Porzingis, he had 14 points. He got ejected in the third quarter. He definitely would have scored 20 tonight. Um, I thought they played pretty good defense on Porzingis. The Clippers did. I thought, um, Zubac neutralized him to an extent and stuff like that. I definitely do believe if Porzingis never got ejected, we would have saw more Porzingis in the game. Another guy who was really the third leading scorer, who had a minus 22. Jeez. He went 7 from 16 on the field, and I'm talking about Tim Hardaway Jr., who scored 18 points tonight. If I'm the Clippers, I key in on obviously Luka Doncic and Porzingis, but Tim Hardaway Jr. should not have almost close to 20 points ever again in this series. I'm being honest. Sometimes the Clippers were lackluster when defending him, and he had free 3-point shots because he shot 4 for 11 from the 3-point. You can't have this. Another guy who had a lot of points over 10 points today was Seth Curry, not Steph Curry, Seth Curry. There was a point in the game when I was just yelling at my TV when I was like, okay, anybody with the last name Curry, guard. So hopefully Doc Rivers tells his players for game 2, guard my son-in-law, please and thank you, because he's a Curry. You don't take Curry's, take any Curry sitting, whether it's even Stephen Curry's daughters. I don't care. If it's a Curry is shooting, you freaking take those, them shooting seriously because you don't want Curry's getting hot. He scored 14 points. Essentially, between, Curry and Hardaway Jr., they scored over 20, I believe 20 or 30 points together combined. That can't happen. That can't happen. It's already bad enough that Luka Doncic had 42 tonight, and who knows what Porzingis would have had tonight, which probably would have been 20, maybe 30 if he continued playing in the game. How that would have evened out, because then you would have had those 4 players combining for almost over 100 points together. Next game 2 on Wednesday, they have to do a better job in keying on the guys, on the side guys. Listen, my sole thing is, yes, guard, obviously you got to key in on Doncic and Porzingis. But as long as the other guys are not killing you, which means do not swag off on them as well, because there were many times in the Clippers defense, which I did not like, is how, you had guys like Porzingis and Doncic driving in, and you would have guys crashing down on them to help out on defense. But guess what? You would leave guys like a Steph Curry or a Tim Hardaway Jr. wide open. They shoot it from 3, and then more than likely they make it. And it's like, can we not do that, please and thank you? It's been a thing with the Clippers I've been seeing as of late. That's the one thing I hate about the Clippers. They have good defense. They have good defense. The Clippers, I think, is one of the better defensive teams in the league. Now, people, from scores alone say that they don't, but when you look up the stats, statistically, the Clippers are a top 10 defense in the NBA. And stuff like that. See, fans just look into, the scores of a games and stuff like that. They cannot have Tim Hardaway Jr. and Steph Curry going to game 2 have more than 10 points. I'm sorry. You can't have Tim Hardaway Jr., who's a streaky shooter, score almost 20 points. You can't. That can't happen. Steph Curry, he's a bench player. You can't have him score 14 points. If he has 10 points or less, I'll take it. But you can't have, guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Steph Curry score over, really essentially get close or score over 15 points, because then that just helps Porzingis and Luka win the game, or gives them the help that they need. Like I said, I'm not trying to take any talent from Dallas. Dallas is a very talented team, and they have some really good players on their team. But just some of these players I'm seeing, like a Tim Hardaway Jr. and a Steph Curry, sorry, they shouldn't be scoring 15 points in a game. I'm sorry. Hopefully by now, the Clippers will look at the film tomorrow and work on this and find ways to contain these guys. Look, Luka, he got what he got today. They did the best of his ability to contain him. And I thought they played really good defense to start off the game against him. They were getting up in his face. They were getting physical with him. The refs were letting it slide until, he started complaining for fouls and he started to become James Harden, essentially, and stuff like that. But I thought they did a pretty good job to start off the game. Now, late in the game, yes, stuff like that. But but that was mostly because most of the points he got was because guys like Reggie Jackson or Landry Shamet were guarding against him. But when he was up against Marcus Morris, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, to be honest, they kind of locked him down, to be honest, and they kind of neutralized him. Marcus Morris, who did a really good job tonight. If you ask me, he's probably my MVP of tonight's game for the Clippers. Now, let's get to the Clippers. Stats. Kawhi Leonard, he led the team in points tonight. He had 29 points. Kawhi Leonard doing Kawhi Leonard things. That's why I'm wearing his jersey. Kawhi Leonard, he's a monster. He's a monster. Playoff Kawhi is another guy. He went 11 for 21 from the field. He only shot one three-pointer, but usually, more than likely, he hits 4 three-pointers. He was 6 from 6 from the free throw line. He had 12 rebounds, 6 assists. He had 3 steals tonight, and he was a plus 18 on the court today. Like I said, Kawhi did Kawhi things. Look, we know what we're going to get out of Kawhi. This is the reason why he came to the Clippers. To get the job done and put us over the top. And that's why you see this guy is essentially a Finals MVP, player and stuff like that. Marcus Morris Sr., who I thought was, the MVP of tonight's game, he scored 19 points. He was 8 from 13 from the field. He shot 3. He made 3 three-pointers with the 6 he attempted. He had 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 4 steals, and he was a plus 25 on the court. Great stuff I like to see from Marcus Morris. He really – this is the thing. If he plays like this, Marcus Morris, this Clippers team is a dangerous team to play. And I'm going to be sad when he leaves for the short period of time because his wife's going to be giving birth, next month to their newborn baby. So it's going to be a bummer when he has to leave. But I think his wife's coming to the bubble, so we might not have nothing to fear about that. But we'll just see when the time comes. But Marcus Morris, who I think is my MVP, my Clipper MVP of tonight, did a great job. He really changed the game. He did a really good defensive job on Luka Doncic, and even Doc Rivers credited, Marcus Morris's defense and stuff like that. And all I got to say is, man, whatever the Clippers got to do, they got to resign not only Marcus Montrezl Harrell, they got to find somewhere to resign Marcus Morris Sr. They cannot let these guys walk. If we can keep this team together, we could potentially be a dynasty team, and stuff like that. Zubac, who has been going back to Marcus Morris Sr. See, if we get the Marcus Morris Sr. right we got here where he's productive and he's giving us, buckets and stuff like that, and he's not playing like the Marcus Morris in the last 2 Laker games we had where he only accumulated around 1 to 0 points in a game, guess what? We're good. And we are, I wouldn't say an unstoppable team, but we are pretty, we're a pretty unbeatable team if that goes to happen. Zubac, who has been amazing in the bubble, he had a double-double today. He had 10 points and 10 rebounds. He was a plus 17 on the court. Listen, Zubac, I just got to say this. Again, I've been saying it on my Twitter, but again, thank you, Los Angeles Lakers, for trading us Ivica Zubac for Mike Muscala. Thank you. I don't know why they did that. Magic Johnson at the time was a complete idiot when he made that trade. Now the Lakers are kicking themselves for it. They probably would have never needed, JaVale McGee if they had kept Zubac. But Zubac, he's been phenomenal for us. Again, he's growing into a much more better player, and he's been phenomenal in the bubble. And he keeps it up, and he's just keeping it up. I definitely do believe if Porzingis was still in the game, Zubac would have got those late game minutes because Harrell was on a minutes restriction and stuff like that. So, yeah, Patrick Beverley scored 8 points. people are going to be like, Patrick Beverly, he sucks. After the 3-point he hit, he was talking all that crap and he had 5 fouls and he's not a good defender. Please. If you don't know Joey, please go check out his channel. He's a great Clippers YouTuber. I listen to this guy, and he just straight up spits facts. I just got to say that. If you haven't checked out his channel, please do. He's a great – he obviously knows his stuff. He knows his stuff, and he's telling you about Patrick Beverly. Don't underestimate this guy. He may be what people say he's just an irritant and stuff like that, but again, like I said, Laker fans who were clamoring for him to join their team this past offseason would be saying the same thing. And if he was on the Lakers, I'd be like, good job, Lakers. You guys have a dog on your team. But guess what? Again, it's the same thing with Laker fans. They don't like Paul George because he didn't go to the Lakers. They don't like Patrick Beverly because he didn't go to the Lakers. They don't like Kawhi Leonard because he didn't join the Lakers. Anyways, he played pretty good. He was a plus 14 on the court. He had 2 steals, 1 assist, 5 rebounds, which again, some of those rebounds he had, which were late in that game, were clutch. On the one stretch where we were just missing shots and we got I think 2 loose rebounds, offensive rebounds, that was Patrick Beverly. That was Patrick Beverly. And I just got to give him my round up. He was really aggressive, and he got himself into really bad foul trouble. There were some fouls here. When he picked up his 3rd foul and even the 5th one, they were pretty bad fouls. The 3rd one especially was a really bad foul where he just fouled Luka Doncic, and I was like, what are you doing, man? You got 2 fouls already. You're getting into foul trouble. Now you just had a bad foul, and that put him in foul trouble. But I got to give, it up to Patrick Beverly from the fact that he didn't foul out. And there was times when he was guarding Luka Doncic, he had to back off a bit because even though I didn't like the fact that he had to back off, he had to back off because because the refs were really whistle heavy, and he didn't want the refs to blow a whistle and foul him out. And like I said, to bring in Reggie Jackson for him, we'll get to Reggie Jackson in a minute, guys. In a minute, Clipper fans. Paul George, who hit the dagger 3-pointer to end the game. He had 27 points. So, again, playoff P. Yeah, but people still say he got locked up by Joe Ingles. Okay, that's in the past. What is he doing for me now? He dropped 27, and he hit the clutch dagger 3 to essentially end the game. Okay, I'll take it. He had 2 steals, which, as you can see, 4 of the Clippers' 5 starters had steals in this game, which is great to see. If this keeps up, and they keep turning the ball over, making Dallas turn the ball over, that's good. That's really good. He had 3 assists. He had 2 rebounds. He went 10 out of 22 from the field. He had 4 of his 11 3-pointers he attempted. He went 3 from the free throw line and stuff like that. Paul George, hey, look, when there was time when he needed to, get this Clippers team back in the game, he put the team on his back when Kawhi Leonard was sitting down. And there were some times when he laid the ball up and he made some really acrobatic layups. You can clearly see that Paul George's shoulders injuries, they're completely gone. He's 100% healed. He's not afraid to go to the basket like he once probably was earlier in the season. And, he's just being really aggressive when he needs to be really aggressive. And this is again, like Kawhi Leonard, this is the reason why we traded for him, even though we had to sadly get rid of Shea. This is the reason why we traded for him. The running mate alongside Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's that dude. He's your number 1 option. But Paul George, when you need to give him the ball and to hit a clutch shot, he'll hit that clutch shot. He might not hit it every now and then, but he'll hit that clutch shot. And, you'll take it. I thought Paul George played pretty good. He was a plus 13. All the starters were a plus 13 on the court today, which is great to see. Now let's get to the bench, which I didn't particularly like this game. JaMychal Green, I would say he had an okay night. It definitely wasn't his best night in the bubble. We all know JaMychal Green has been a monster in the bubble. He had 5 points. He was a minus 16 on the court. He had 2 rebounds. He went 2 for 3. He had 1 3-pointer, so obviously, JaMychal Green continuing that 3-point shot. Another thing, make this man pick up his option, please, so he can return to the team. I want JaMychal Green on this roster next year because this guy is good, which I honestly think is the most underrated, trade asset we got for him, and stuff like that. So it's good. It's good. Montrezl Harrell, who played his first game in the bubble, only had 6 points. He was a -7 on the court. Obviously, he's just, getting adjusted back to in-game shape. He was on minutes restriction and stuff like that. The only thing I saw that he probably should do better, one, I didn't like the fact that he tried to take some of these really bad shots against Boban. There were some shots he took against Boban that you have no business taking. Like, I was like, okay, dude, don't even bother. You're fighting a brick wall essentially. And then also another thing I saw, which Sam Cassell was talking about to him, was the fact that he needs to do better running up and down the court. Like, look, you're here, man. No time for jogging. You're here in the playoffs. We need you running up and down the court. I know you were out for a while and stuff like that, but we need to get in that game shape and stuff like that. Obviously, as you saw, he was wearing a shirt that had his grandma on it. If you still don't know, his grandmother tragically passed away this past week. So prayers up to him, and he's doing this for her. I think Montrez is only going to get better, as the games progress, because he's going to get in game shape. And by the second round, when we more than likely will play the Nuggets, he'll probably be, that go-to, old Montrez we've had before, the season went on hiatus. Whew. Before I talk about certain guys you see under Harrell's name, Lou Williams, yes, what Shannon Sharp likes to call him, Lemon Pepper Lou. He had 14 points. So again, don't tell me that in that first bubble game against the Lakers, Lou Williams would have not made a difference. Again, where's the guy who said he would take Alex Caruso over Lou Williams? Yeah, right. He had 14 points tonight. He had 1 steal and stuff like that. He went 4 from 10 from the field. He had 2 out of his 5 3-point attempts made. I thought Lou Williams came in, really well. He got some baskets when we needed to get him when we needed some baskets from him and stuff like that. And I thought he did a good job. Terrence Mann, he played some minutes in this game, mostly for defensive purposes, but then after that was it. Although I do want to see him get more playing time, especially before we talk about Reggie Jackson. Landry Shamet, he played in this game but didn't do much of anything himself. He had 0 points here too. I would like to see the Landry Shamet that showed up against the Blazers a few games ago. If we get that Landry Shamet, we're even more deadly. But no, if Landry Shamet's just going to give me a big fat O in the box score, then again, unless he's out there for defensive purposes, I don't want him on the court. He turned the ball over 1 time, which he should have laid the ball up. I would really like the Clippers to set some screen plays for him where he can get wide open for 3. I don't understand, because JJ Redick has, said this guy is a legit knockdown 3-point shooter. At this point, I'd rather have JJ Redick than him now, because JJ Redick will at least, hit 3-point shots again for you. Landry Shamet, he's a 3-point shooter, but he does nothing. Well, either one, the Clippers don't set up plays for him to get those 3-point shots, and 2, he doesn't take the assertiveness of himself to get open for 3-point shots. Which again, I want to see him more aggressive. Landry Shamet, and I need him to hit some threes. And like I said, if you're not going to go out there and make baskets, like I said, in playoff time, when we need you to make playoff baskets, what's the point in being out there? You may think I'm kind of over-criticizing him a bit, but hey, I'm just being honest. Now, let's go to the one Clipper where every Clipper fans probably in this game were just doing this or somewhat sweating every time he touched the ball. And that is Reggie Jackson. To say that Reggie Jackson right now might be the worst Clippers player in the bubble right now is not an understatement. He legit is the worst Clippers player in the bubble. I'm not joking. There was many times in this game when I was yelling at my TV, get the ball out of Reggie Jackson's hand, or I was saying, Doc Rivers, sit Reggie Jackson, please. One, Reggie Jackson. If he's going to give me 0 points too and just throw up shots thinking he's Kobe or Kevin Durant or some superstar player, he's wrong for that. He missed layups. At some points, he was just throwing stuff up just to throw stuff up. And I'm like, why are we not taking him out? And then it doesn't help the fact that he is a terrible defender. He is a terrible defender. There are many times he falls asleep on defense, and the Dallas Mavericks made shots because he wasn't playing defense. This is my thing about Reggie Jackson. If he is not giving you anything in scoring, anything, if he's giving you like he gave you tonight, a big fat 0, I don't want him on the court. He's already a defensive liability on the court, especially when you pair him up with Lou Williams. That is a huge gaping defensive liability at your guard position. If he is going to give me nothing offensively and he's just already a bad defender as is, Doc Rivers, why is he out there? No need to be out there if he's going to give me nothing defensively and he's not going to give me nothing offensively. Reggie Jackson was playing like crap to the point I was like, at this point, I'd rather see Terrence Mann out there getting minutes over this guy. And even if Terrence Mann, again, gives 0 points, at least I know one thing is he's going to put it all out there on defense. Heck, or hell, I'd rather see Rodney McGruder out there, which I was questioning like, well, if Reggie Jackson was playing crap, where's a Rodney McGruder sighting? You'd think Rodney McGruder would be playing. But no. And then for some reason, even though Lou Williams has still the same defensive liabilities, late in the game, he switches out Lou Williams for Reggie Jackson. At that point, you might as well just have left Lou Williams in the game. He has 14 points. And just in case you need him to hit that clutch, dagger bucket, he's out there, as opposed to Reggie Jackson just chucking stuff up. I'm just afraid that Doc Rivers will leave Reggie Jackson out there for far too long, and Reggie Jackson will chuck up shots, which could end up actually making us lose a game. That's the one thing I fear the most. Listen, I don't want Reggie Jackson touching the ball until he can consistently give me maybe 10 points each game. But what Reggie Jackson needs to do is do the role what Patrick Beverley is doing. Essentially be a spot-up three-point shooter. Let Kawhi Leonard, your buddy Paul George, and maybe Marcus Morris operate the offense. And when you're open for three, you get the ball when they pass it to you, and you shoot the open three, and you make it, hopefully. Reggie Jackson was one of the things I didn't like about this game, if not one of the bad things I hated about this game. Another bad thing I hated the game is how we blew that 18-2 lead we had early in the game. And then, we played bad, and we had, which leads into the bad defensive play this game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The Clippers played an ugly game tonight. It was not pretty by any means necessary. And you're a Clippers fan saying, it was a pretty good game from the Clippers. No, it wasn't. It was a pretty ugly game to win. And to be honest, can you say did a little luck factor into this game? Yes. I will be honest with you. A little luck did factor into this game. We were a little lucky to win this game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be honest out there. The defense of the Clippers were not that good tonight. They had guys, again, when Luka Doncic and Porzingis were crashing down, Morley Doncic, to be honest, when he was crashing down, there was one play where he was crashing down and, he had nowhere to go. I believe it was Kawhi Leonard who was guarding him. He had nowhere to go. He couldn't force up a shot because it would have been a bad shot. And then Marcus Morris comes over to try to help defense for no reason. And he passes outside, and I think it was to Tim Hardaway Jr. He hits the three. And on the broadcast, Chauncey Billups even mentioned, there was no need for that. There was nowhere for Luka Doncic to go. There was no need. You could have just stayed in your regular defensive positions. That's the thing. When the Clippers, sometimes do that help defense, sometimes they overcommit on the help defense for too much. And at the last second, that player who has the ball passes it to the wide open man. 9 out of 10 times, that player who passes it to a wide open 3-point shooter makes the 3-point shot. They have to clean that up. They have to clean it up. The Clippers definitely preparing for game 2. If they get out to a big lead like 18-2, they need to play better defense, because if you're telling me the Clippers start off the game 18-2, I'm thinking we're going to blow the Dallas Mavericks out, and the Dallas Mavericks are going to not see what's coming to them. The fact that Dallas got back in that game and they wittily, chipped down after Luka went out with the little ankle injury, but then he later came back. And the defense, and then again, it was a sloppy. There was moments in the game where there was very, very sloppy offense. Like you had sometimes us taking really bad shots and really forced shots too. Sometimes we were rushing the ball too much and then taking a transitional three when we had no business, and we should have slowed it down. There was times when we were shooting too many threes when we should have just went in the paint and just drove in and, get those baskets. Late in the game, Patrick Beverley attempted like a transition three instead of waiting for, or essentially Kawhi Leonard at that point in time, who was dominating and closing out the game for us, to get the ball and work his magic. The Clippers need to be better in terms of having and running a more efficient offense and realizing what's going on in direct points in time. You just can't force up shots and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why the Dallas Mavericks got back in that game and when we went up 18-2, because the Clippers, were making 3-point shots like the one game they did against the Pelicans. Next thing you know, they think, oh, we got the hot hand from three. This is going to be a 3-point game for us. They started missing threes. And then that's when Dallas got chipped into the effort and got back in the game. And they got on a huge run. And it looked like we were going to be the ones to get blown up. But again, the one thing about the Clippers is they fight hard. They continue to fight and they won't give up. And, this game was won because of our talent. We just have the better talent than Dallas. And that's just being honest, and stuff like that. Like I said, it wasn't pretty. It was an ugly game. But guess what? At the end of the day, all Clipper fans can admit this. We'll take this game 1 win, and now we have to move on to game 2. Hopefully Doc Rivers has the guys ready, because I know Porzingis is going to be a man on a mission on Wednesday for game 2 to try to get us back for the ejection. So obviously Doc Rivers is going to tell Zubats, listen, be prepared to play against these guys. This guy's going to be playing with some kind of aggression. I got the Clippers winning the series in 5. I would not be shocked if the Clippers lose game 2. Because, the Mavericks will be like, okay, we didn't have Porzingis. Luka dropped 42. We would have won this game potentially if not for the Porzingis ejection. So hopefully Doc Rivers has these guys ready to play. Hopefully some of these other guys, like a Shaman and a Reggie Jackson, play much better in game 2. Listen, like I said, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they're going to get over 20 points. You hope that Marcus Morris continues this onslaught. Zubac, same thing here. Patrick Beverley, hopefully he doesn't get into foul trouble. Hopefully the team as a whole doesn't get into foul trouble in game 2, because that was a little bit of the reason why, the Mavericks early in the game chipped in, because there was a part in the game where Kawhi had 2 early fouls and needed to be taken out of the game for a while because of it and stuff like that, which led to them getting back into the game and stuff like that. Again, my keys to winning game 2, play much better defense, especially at the 3-point line. Do not let some of these shooters, get more baskets. But who knows? Knowing the Clippers, some new player might go off, go bonkers, and stuff like that. Again, do the same thing you can try to do. Do your best to, essentially get into Luka Doncic. He does not like physical play. I can tell, not only the matches we played against him, but tonight. He does not like getting physical. Stay physical on him. He does not like to get physical, because when that happens, that's when you saw him today. He got a little bit whiny early in the game, and he was getting them foul calls because he was whining for them, and stuff like that. So I say keep up the physicality on Beverly and the rest of the Dallas Mavericks team. Just keep the physicality on these guys. Let these guys know that, listen, just because, you know, you guys made a valiant effort to almost come back and win, it don't mean nothing. We're still the number 2 seed. We're still the LA Clippers. We're a dogfight team, and we'll get up in your face. You gotta do the same thing in game 2. I want to see a more physical game, a more physical defense from the Clippers. Hopefully they limit the fouls in the game. Hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully the refs aren't going to be so whistle happy, because the refs were pretty bad in this game. It don't matter what you can say. You can say the refs were in the Clippers' pocket in the second half, whatever. If you watch the first half, the refs were definitely, anti-Clippers. There were many times where the Clippers were getting hacked at the line, or getting hacked when they were driving in, and no whistle whatsoever. But, you turn around, we couldn't even touch the Dallas Mavericks without a whistle call. Hopefully the ticky-tack fouls go away, because that's what playoff basketball is about. You usually don't get those, ticky-tack calls and stuff like that. So, yeah. Going into game 2, like I said, the Clippers definitely got to play much better. I do, anticipate they will play better. Obviously, again, this is one of the few times where the full roster is back, and stuff like that. So things are just going to develop, and things will work itself out. Listen, regardless, like I said, am I worried about the way we won? No, we still got the W. I still know we're a better team than Dallas. Is there some things that we definitely need to clean up? Yes. There are some things on the defensive side and the offense side we definitely need to clean up, and some players just need to play better. I will say, let's try not to let Luka get over 42 points or close to 50 again. So let's see if we can limit him. My prediction is, let's try to limit Luka Doncic to 30 points or less than that. Now, who knows what Luka's going to give you. Let's just hope he doesn't drop another 40 bomb on us. But again, like I said, even with him dropping 40, and who knows what Porzingis would have got, I still do believe we would have won the game, because even before the Porzingis ejection, we were making a run to get back in that game. So regardless, it's like I told somebody on Twitter, like, who knows what could have happened. It is what it is. The game is over. The Porzingis ejection happened. It is what it is. You move on. You just take what you're given, and, you go out there and perform and win that game. That's what the Clippers did today. And again, the Dallas Mavericks showed their youth and their inexperience not only late in games, but late in a playoff scenario. Again, Porzingis already had a technical early in the game. The refs gave him another technical. Listen, that's just bad on him. That's bad on Porzingis. You can't get another technical or you're going to get ejected. So hopefully Porzingis knows his lesson now. He is a young player again. Like I said, this Dallas Mavericks team is a very young team. They're not like the Dirk, Nowitzki veteran team. This team over time will be much more of a veteran team, and we'll get more accustomed to these playoff rounds and stuff like that. But again, the Clippers should beat these guys. We'll see. It won't. If you want to ask my opinion, if the Clippers can sweep these guys, if the Clippers can win the next 2 games, then it will more than likely probably be a sweep or a 5-game series. But yeah. But listen, hopefully this woke the Clippers up, and made the Clippers realize, okay, we can't take these guys seriously we got to take these guys seriously, and we can't, sleep on these guys, because these guys, they're going to feel confident and stuff like that. So hopefully game 2, the Clippers get a W and win on Wednesday. And after that game, I'll provide another Clippers playoff recap here. And yeah, so other than that, guys, I'm going to get off here and stuff like that. Hold on a sec. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on the Clippers win, and what can the Clippers do to get a better win in game 2, or some things that you would like to see the Clippers improve. And also, I guess, question of the day for you Clipper fans, do you think Reggie Jackson should get some playoff minutes, or do you think, Rodney McGruder and Terrence Mann should get some of his minutes because of the way he played? It is what it is, and stuff like that. And Now, if you're a Laker fan who's just leaving who's leaving either a mean comment or a dislike, go right ahead. We could care less. Listen, you guys, like I said, Lakers, worry about who you're playing right now. Anyways, this has been Camera 15. If you like this, if you want to hit that subscribe button and get more Clipper playoff updates, hit that subscribe button and I'll give you every Clipper playoff update after every game and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on those games. So other than that, guys, hopefully, this is the start to us closing out this series against the Dallas Mavericks and we get a game 2 win. So till then, guys, I'll see you guys Wednesday for Clippers recap on after game 2 is over. So till then, guys, it's been Camera 15. I'm signing out. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your night. Peace.